Word of the day is self-esteem. Did you know that over 85% of men at some point in their lives struggle with self-esteem? That's a staggering number, and I know because I've been there myself. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you actionable steps on how to rebuild your self-esteem from the ground up. Whether you're 20, 40 or in between, this video will change how you look at yourself. Now, with that being said, stay tuned because tip number last will make sure that you are never that same person again. Let's jump right into this video. Building self-esteem starts with competence. Competence is so very much important in us as men because we are competitors. Think of how many men history has given us. Talking of men like Henry Ford, talking of men like Thomas Edison. These people were competitors in their particular industries and they gave us the best lives that we are living here today. We have light bulbs, we have cars. It is what it is. Now, the most important thing that you need to note in life as a man is that you have to have a skill that you are investing your energy in. You have to have an area where you want to be the best. Now, we can talk of gym, for example. You want to reach your physical fitness peak. Now, what you need to do, you need to set a goal, for example, to say, I want to work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Now, when you are actually monitoring those smaller wins, you become the best version of yourself. You will start to see that these things are actually growing within you. What do I mean by things? I mean confidence, sense of self-worth, self-esteem. You see that the amount of work that you are putting in is giving rise into something that is spectacular. So let me give you action steps on how to actually achieve this particular thing, which is skill. Identify a skill that you always wanted to work on. Is it karate? Is it learning to code? Is it learning to public speak? So when you have identified that, this is the next step that you need to do. Set a clear, actionable goal. For example, I want to spend at least 30 minutes a day studying Python. Create a schedule for practice, even if it's 15 minutes a day. Track progress weekly to reinforce that you are definitely improving. We all know this. It is all over the internet. It is everywhere. It's been here before the internet. People have known that growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. For you to be able to build your self-esteem, you need to face challenges. Men who face their challenges head on become better at handling those challenges because that gives them the sense of self-worth when you are working on what bothers you. And I like to say this because many men think that everything is out of their control. So you need to work on what bothers you. And if it's not within you, then just live your life without just being frustrated, being overwhelmed all the time. You may say, for example, I want to take a leadership role at work. That's you challenging yourself. You might say, okay, I see that I'm shy, so what can I do in order to go out of that bubble? Let's say you approach someone that you are not used to because you are on this journey of improving yourself. And now when you do all of those things, you get that validation of the work that you have done, because it is so very much important to note that the work we do within ourselves will definitely lead us to the best versions of ourselves. So when we are tackling on challenges, we become the best versions of ourselves because that's the only way to go about it in life, baby. Now let's see some action steps on how we can actually do this thing. Identify the challenge. For example, you are scared of approaching women. After you have identified that problem, you tackle the challenge, face it head on, even though it might be difficult. Now, what you need to note is that perfection isn't the goal, but progress, or aka growth, is what we are looking for. And number last, what you need to do is to track how you did based on that problem. You have to have a checklist. What did I do wrong? How can I improve? People in general often like validation. This is where most of us go wrong because Even when we do things that are supposed to be self-fulfilling, we are always looking for someone to say, well done, but that isn't the key. The key is to self-accept. Accept yourself as who you are, know your worth. When you do those things, you'll definitely not be going out there seeking validation, because that's weak behavior. What you need to also understand is your internal dialogue. What are you saying to yourself? Because the way we talk to ourselves actually shapes the version of who we are currently. So talk positive affirmations. Talk to yourself about how to actually tackle these problems, in particular this problem of trying to understand why do you need external validation, because true self-esteem doesn't come from external validation. It's an inner game. It's an inner thing that you need to first accomplish. So be content of who you are. Actually reflect, what are your core values, because we talked about the importance of core values. When you are a man, when you understand your core values and you understand what your actions are, each and every time you are completing a task, for example at work, you do not need to say, guys, I did this, I did that. No, that's not it. You need to celebrate within you. That's the first step. You celebrate within you the small wins. These habits we've been talking about for quite some time, you need to understand the importance of them and how they actually shape your life. Now let's see the actionable steps that we can use in order to actually self-validate. Spend 5 minutes daily reflecting on your wins, no matter how big, no matter how small. And when you've done that, what you need to do is to also identify your biggest achievements. This you will go back to when you actually need that self-confidence boost, because that usually happens at times when you are doubting yourself. But now if you have a record of saying, okay, this is what I did, how I did it, and then you feel confident, because it's a long game, baby. Now what we have to do is we have to go to tip number last and see how we can actually be the best versions of ourselves using this one last technique that will elevate your life into becoming the best life ever. Step number last, focus on solutions. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with negativity. Think of how the news actually rapes us with the negativity. They are always constantly trying to make us feel agitated. Now, when you are faced with problems, never focus on the problem. Focus on how to solve this problem, because the how part is the most important when you are faced with a problem. You know, okay, I have this problem of not having money. Then how can I make more money? Instead of crying about it and be like, why is this happening to me? You can ask, what can I do in order to solve this problem? We need to have this mentality of trying to always solve problems, because that's what life is about. If you're saying to yourself, I want to be a businessman, for a business to be successful, it has to solve a problem. So that problem, we're focusing on the solution. That's what we are focusing on. Focus on the positive side of things.
People are not connected. So how can I actually make these people talk to one another? Someone in America talks to someone in China.
That's you focusing on the solution. So with that being said, let's see the actionable steps that we can take in order to elevate our lives. When you are facing a problem, you need to come up with at least 3 solutions to that problem. What you need to do now is to take an actionable step towards each solution. And when you see progress, you need to celebrate that. That's it, man. That's it. That's how we conquer this thing. That's how we get this self-esteem type thing. And there you have it, a video that is filled with actionable steps. This video won't do you any good if you do not practice, you do not take action, because action leads to progress. Everybody knows that. So my man, thank you so very much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. In the comment section below, tell me, what are some of the things that you are going to do? Did I miss any of the important things regarding self-esteem? If I did so, let's make this a conversation. And please, do me this solid. hit the like, the subscribe button, and share this video with someone who might find it useful. We need to elevate our lives as men. So with that being said, please click this other video of mine on how to make your life better. So with that being said, please remember this one thing, man. Act like the main character of your life, because that you definitely are.